Hi, everybody, and welcome to St. John's Hymn Sing on this Thursday evening, January 21st. My name is Ben Riggs. I'm delighted to welcome you here tonight, however you found us, via Zoom with our Zoom link, or if you're seeing us after the fact on YouTube or posted on Facebook. The Chancel Choir is really happy to open up our traditional Thursday evening rehearsals time during this space where we're meeting virtually in order to have some congregation members join us and sing some of our favorite hymns. And throughout the night, you'll hear from hopefully some of the folks who've suggested these hymns as to why, what their memories are or why they chose them to sing tonight. So the most important thing, if it's your first time with us, is to remember to keep your mic on mute the whole time. We often sing Happy Birthday unmuted and in Chancel Choir rehearsals just so we can hear what happens on Zoom and remind ourselves why it's a little cacophonous. So keep your mic on mute, but sing along with gusto at home. If you're not comfortable singing, just want to listen to some of them, if they're a little less familiar, that's fine too. So we're just delighted that you're here. Let's start our hymn sing. And the first few hymns tonight are actually some really wonderful ones that are helping us celebrate the season of Epiphany with a focus on Jesus and the light. And they also sort of call back a little bit to some Christmastide themes, so that's not going to be a terrible thing to enjoy. So you see our Christmas decorations, St. John's at the bottom of the screen there. This first hymn is very Epiphany, and this was suggested by Fran Toy. And Fran wasn't sure if she could be here tonight, but let me just call out. Fran, are you on the call?
I am here.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. Tell us about the hymn that you chose.
I have been singing this during the season of Epiphany ever since I was a very, very young child, as I grew up in the Episcopal Church. And I don't know why I've always loved Morning Star, but each season of Epiphany, I just look forward to singing this, although sometimes an alternate tune has been chosen for this hymn. But anyway, I do like Morning Star, and thank you.
Absolutely, that's fantastic. Okay, fabulous. And I'm going to just mute you back there. And so, yeah, there's two versions, as Fran said, as this hymn in the hymnal. And this is Morning Star is the first tune, and probably the more familiar. I shared with Shan that I shared with Fran via email that I grew up hearing this to a Southern tune from the Southern Harmony, a shape note tune, which is also sometimes sung to it. Please join if you know it right away. If not, it's really quite lyrical and accessible, and you'll hear the melody with one hearing through. That's why I did 4 verses. Also, there's kind of a through line to the story that happens there. And it's very reminiscent, actually, of the Christina Rossetti that we sang last month. Which was In the Bleak Midwinter, but with a focus on the star, the Christmas star that we all got to see this season. Here is Brightest and Best of the Stars of the Morning. Brightest and best of the stars of the morning, dawn on our darkness and lend us thine aid. Star of the east and horizon adorning, guide where our infant Redeemer is laid. Cold on his cradle the dewdrops are shining, low lies his head with the beasts of the stall. Angels adore him in slumber reclining, Maker and Monarch and Savior of all. Shall we then yield him in costly devotion, odors of Edom and offerings divine, gems of the mountain the forest and gold from the mine. Vainly we offer each ample oblation, vainly with gifts would his favor secure. Richer by far is the heart's adoration, dearer to God are the prayers of the poor. Oh, that was great. Thank you so much, Fran, so much for choosing this one for us to sing tonight here in this season of Epiphany. Such a gentle, beautiful, lyrical, almost lullaby-like piece. I just think it's wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, our next piece is actually one we sung before. It was on our very first month of hymn sing back in September, I guess. But it's a favorite of mine, a favorite of many. And tonight it was suggested by Jesse. Jesse, are you on the call?
Yes.
Welcome, Jesse. Tell us about Fairest Lord Jesus.
I just love the simplicity of it, simplicity of the melody, and of the sort of just appreciating the divine in nature, which is, I think, what the theme is. Apparently, it's associated with Jan Hus, who was one of the first Protestants back in Prague, Bohemia, back in the 1300s. There's a huge statue of him in the middle of the main town square. I've been there a couple of times. And it's also rumored that the Germans, as they were crusading toward the Promised Land, that this was a favorite of theirs. I didn't know those historical facts. I just love the simplicity of it and its melody.
Well, that's fantastic. And Jesse, you're going to lead us in this tonight, right?
Yes.
Okay, take it away.
It'll be in my range of singing. Okay, give me a starting note.
Okay.
Fairest, I can't get up there.
Oh, let's take it a little lower. Sorry about that. How about Fairest Lord? How about down there? Yeah.
Okay, great. Fairest Lord Jesus, ruler of all nature, O thou of God and man the Son, thee will I cherish, thee will I honor, my soul's glory, joy, and crown. Fair are the meadows, fairer still the woodlands, robed in the blooming garb of spring. Jesus is fairer, Jesus is purer, who makes the woeful heart to sing. Fair is the sunshine, fairer still the moonlight, and all the twinkling starry hosts. Jesus shines brighter, Jesus shines purer than all the angels heaven can hold. Beautiful Savior, Lord of all the nations, Son of God and Son of man. and honor, praise, adoration, now and forevermore. Be thine.
Yay, thanks so much, Jesse, for leading us in that. Such a wonderful hymn. I am just thrilled, and I want to let you all know that there was an extra verse in there that we don't sing in Hymnal 1982. These were lyrics from the United Methodist hymnal, and it really mainly just adds a little alteration, of course, but it adds that final verse, Beautiful Savior. And since we're just out of Christmastide, the choir knows this. I moved here most recently from Minnesota, though I'm not from there. And I, like many people, grew up watching the St. Olaf Christmas Festival on PBS, you know, at the holiday time. And I've had a chance now to see it a couple times in person when I was living in Minnesota. And F. Melius Chris Johnson had a famous choral arrangement of Beautiful Savior, which is how this hymn is known in most Lutheran circles. And that's their signature piece of the St. Olaf choir, and it's sung to close every holiday festival, every Christmas festival. And it's so interesting that when we do associate this with nature and the beauty of nature, I will tell you, when they sing this in December, nature is totally in hibernation down there in at St. Olaf, south of the Twin Cities. Okay, so wonderful, wonderful memories. Thank you, Jesse, for sharing this with us. Enough about me. Okay, let's look at Jesus, the Light of the World. And Sarah suggested this one, and it's one I have heard before, but I went ahead and put the music in because it's one that many of you may not have. And Sarah, are you on the call? Can you tell us about Jesus, the Light of the World? Oh, Sarah, are you there?
I am here. I am here. I'm using a different computer, so I had to find the unmute button. So can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So I have to tell you that I had not grown up with this version, but I was driving home from church one Sunday during Christmas time several years ago, and Kathleen Battle did a roaring version of this with a large choir and orchestra and whatever. And there's a lovely version available with just her and Christopher Parkening on classical guitar. And if you don't know it, it's not a problem, because after you've sung it once, you'll know it. The words are already familiar to you, and this is how it goes. So I'm just going to start right in, and you all just jump right in. I won't know the difference. Hark the herald angels sing, Jesus the light of the world. Glory to the Christ child bring, Jesus the light of the world. We will follow the light, beautiful light, come where the dewdrops of mercy are bright, shine all around us by day and by night, Jesus the light of the world. Joyful all you saints arise, Jesus the light of the world. Join the triumph of the skies, Jesus the light of the world. We will follow the light, beautiful light, come where the dewdrops of mercy are bright, shine all around us by day and by night.
thanks so much, Sarah. That was really great. And boy, it's a really fun one. When you mention it, I do remember, that's where I've heard it, is that Kathleen Battle, really famous and fabulous recording from many years ago, and it was lovely. Sorry, everybody at home, that some of our words and notes and things were a little bit different, but a testament to how many different versions there are. And Sarah, thank you for leading us in it and introducing it to us, to many of us tonight. While we associate so many of those Charles Wesley words with Christmas Eve and Christmastide, focusing on Jesus, the light of the world, is exactly the Epiphany message, and I think it's a wonderful time of year to remember that. So thanks, Sarah. Fabulous. Okay. Hey, we're going to change our tune a little bit, and we have two African-American spirituals to sing next, and these are both from Lift Every Voice and Sing, our fantastic hymnal. And the first is There's a Balm in Gilead, an absolute favorite of mine. This was suggested to us by David Brown. David, do you happen to be on the call?
There we go. Yes, I am. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, David. We can't see you, but we can hear you. Tell us about There is a Balm, why this is one you suggested.
It's just always been a very calming yet firm spiritual, and it makes me very happy when I hear it.
Fantastic. That's a great reason, if I've ever heard one. And we're going to sing this, all three verses that are available to us. It's both in our Hymnal 82 and Lift Every Voice, but there is an additional verse that we could find in Lift Every Voice and Sing, and arranged by the amazing Carl Haywood, who was the senior editor of Lift Every Voice and Sing when they were putting the hymn book together. And we love singing his version of the Gloria. We're singing it right now on Sunday mornings. It's the sort of peppy one that has some faster moments in it that the choir and I are always trying to find the right tempo for, but it is one of my favorites as well. So There is a Balm. Please join me. We'll start with the refrain. And before we get going, I'm just going to make sure, yes. I'm going to mute you, David and Carol, and we'll come back in just a second to you guys. There is a balm in Gilead to make the wounded whole. There is a balm in Gilead to heal the sin-sick soul. Sometimes I feel discouraged and think my work's in vain, but then the Holy Spirit revives my soul again. There is a balm in Gilead to make the wounded whole. There is a balm in Gilead to heal the sin-sick soul. If you cannot preach like Peter, if you cannot preach like Paul, you can tell the love of Jesus and say he died for all. There is a balm in Gilead to make the wounded whole. There is a balm in Gilead to heal the was great. David, thank you so much for suggesting it. And thanks for letting me get tongue twisted and during part of it. That's why I'm not a preacher. You'll just hear me singing, though sometimes making some of those little errors. Oh my gosh, I just love that. And should there ever be like a song that we need to hear more, maybe even tonight after the last couple weeks, it really is wonderful. Thanks, David. Carol suggested another of her favorites, I believe. Carol, tell us why you like Wade in the Water.
Well, I like many spirituals, and when David and I were talking about picking some hymns that we would like to sing tonight, we just made a list of actually all the spirituals we liked, and this was one of them. And we sent them to you. So I'm really glad you picked us, because I don't know, I like spirituals, you know, I like the rhythm. I like it when people clap to them. I think it's great. I think it really lifts your spirit.
Absolutely. And so I really love that. And Carol and David are both members of the Chancel Choir. And, you know, I've just found that the incredible depth of richness from many of the great choral arrangements of spirituals that we all have gotten to sing over the years has really added to our appreciation of, you know, this incredible genre of music. And I also love singing spirituals. I find that there's some that are up, there's some that are down, for sure. And this one has kind of both in it, doesn't it? Wade in the Water. Let's take it from the beginning. We'll start again with the refrain and sing 2 of the verses that we can find and lift every voice and sing.
Trouble the water, wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. See that band all dressed in red, God's gonna trouble the water. Looks like the band that Moses led. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Why don't you wade in the water? Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water.
Oh, just another great one. Thank you so much, Carol, for suggesting this one. It's, again, one of my favorites, which the choir knows applies to many, many songs that we sing. I'm just remembering for those chancel choir members on the call, singing together, even maybe just last season, a favorite arrangement of mine of 3 different spirituals by Dr. Isai Barnwell from Sweet Honey in the Rock. And this was one of them we overlaid on top of each other, and it is another great version of that. Okay, hey, what is next on our list? Oh, such a good one. And this is another from the Sacred Harp, and I won't say any more. Actually, Cheryl, I see you there on. You're in one of my screens. I can see. Why don't you unmute and tell us why you chose How Firm a Foundation?
Well, I think first of all, I really do love the music from the Sacred Harp. That's somehow it just always really speaks to me. and it's I don't know, it feels so grounded, and it's simple, and yet actually always has a complexity that's really satisfying as well. It's hard to describe. But the other reason that I really, really like this is this is what popped into my head the day before the inauguration. And all of a sudden, I was like, wow, look at what showed up. And one of the reasons that I really like this is that God is speaking directly. You know, God is speaking directly. And he says, I'll strengthen thee, I'll help you, I won't desert you. And what I like is in verse 5, he says, I will not. And then he says it again, I will not desert to its foes. And that's exciting because it's like it repeats the words twice. And then he says at the end, I'll never, no, never, no, never. So it's like 3 times. And somehow that always, every time I sing that again, that there's that just incredible strength, and it just goes right to my heart. So that's why.
That's wonderful, and I could never have said anything as well as that. I think that's fabulous. And so, Cheryl, you're going to lead us in these 3 verses.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let me get my pitch here. So, how firm a foundation, ye saints of the Lord, is laid for your faith in his excellent word. What more can he say than to you he hath said? To you that for refuge to Jesus have fled. Fear not, I am with thee, oh be not dismayed, for I am thy God, and will still give thee aid. I'll strengthen thee, help thee, and cause thee to stand, upheld by my righteous, omnipotent hand. The soul that to Jesus hath fled for repose, I will not desert to its foes. That soul, though all hell shall endeavor to shake, I'll never, no never, no never forsake.
Yay, thank you, Cheryl, so much. That was just great, and truly one of my favorites. And in case the term the Sacred Harp is new to some people who are on our call tonight, the Sacred Harp was, I should bring a copy and show you sometime. It's a book, it's a hymnal actually, and like many other Southern shape note hymnals, it's shaped like this. So it's actually kind of long ways, which in and of itself is kind of interesting. All the notes in the hymnal have shapes assigned to them, which was a way of teaching people how to sing. It was meant to help with music literacy, but there are only 4 shapes. The first 3 are fa, sol, la, so sometimes it's called fa, sol, la singing. And I think it's fa, sol, la, mi is the one that they use at the end. And you know, some people hear these melodies and they think, oh, distinctive American sound, early American, because they came out of sort of our colonial days, as opposed to some of the European influence that we see in a lot of our hymns. And also that one, I think, I'll have to go back and count all the pitches, is pentatonic in its melody, meaning it's not an a cappella group, but it has five pitches in the melody. Some are high and some are low in the octave, and that gives it that somewhat unusual distinctive sound. Thank you for sharing, Cheryl. I love the Sacred Harp. I could talk about it for ages, but then I'm from West Virginia, and I grew up with some of that stuff, actually. All right, so the next suggestion tonight, our hymn, is from Kathy, and she has a great story for this. Kathy, are you on the call? She did say she might be late, so I'm looking. Kathy? All right, well, I'll have to tell Kathy's story since she's not here. This is not one that I knew very well from our Episcopal hymnal 1982. It's very early in the hymnal, hymn number 24. The day thou gavest, Lord, is ended. And it's in that, there's a few sections at the beginning of the hymn parts of the hymnal for morning, noon, and evening, and Compline. So hymns to go along with some of those offices of the day, and this is one of them. And Kathy's Episcopal Church Choir in Portland would always end all of their choir rehearsals with this hymn, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. I did put the melody here for us, so for those of us who can read music, it might be helpful in case you don't know it. It is a little bit trickier than some of the others that we sing, but it is quite beautiful, and I was very happy to learn it. So here's a little bit of The Day Thou Gavest.
The day thou gavest, Lord, is ended. The darkness falls at thy behest. To thee our morning hymns ascended. Thy praise shall sanctify our rest. We thank thee that thy church unsleeping, while earth rolls onward into light, through all the world her watch is keeping, and rests not now by day or night. As o'er each continent and island the dawn leads on another day, the voice of prayer is never silent, nor dies thy strain of praise away.
Thank you so much, Kathy, for suggesting that hymn. I loved getting to know it. I hope there's a few of you on the call who did know it, but it was really nice for me to hear one that I had not heard before, and I just love. The next hymn is a really special one, and this one is suggested tonight by Sylvia, hymn number 487, Come My Way, My Truth, My Life. Sylvia, tell us about this one.
Well, I always enjoyed this hymn when it came around in a service for its general, lovely, smooth loveliness. But I only really started paying attention to the lyrics, which are drawn from a long work called The Temple by the Elizabethan era mystical Welsh poet, George Herbert. When I started work, there's an art song version of this by the same composer, Ray Vaughan Williams. And so when I started working on the art song version of this called The Call, which is the name of this section of the poem, I came to struggle with and eventually appreciate the amazing structure of these three trinities, if you will, of nouns that start each verse. Each one represents some aspect or metaphor of Christ, or just Christ himself. I say just. Each one expands and launches the next line, the subsequent line in each of the three verses. So, so far so good. That's the structure of it, but some of the meanings still eluded me and do to this day, and I still can't parse it all. But I would like to share one line that I finally, I don't know, I either learned it online or I figured it out. I don't even remember. But the line, such a feast as mends in length. And I thought, what on earth could that possibly mean? Well, Christ is the feast, and the feast is communion, Christ in communion. And the phrase mends in length simply means fixes things, mends in length over time. Today we would say over the long haul, or we would say over the long run. But that's what it means. It's about the healing or salutary effect of repeatedly experiencing communion and what it does to us. So I loved it for that, and it's the curative power of all of that. And if anyone can figure out such a strength as makes his guest, please let me know.
That's great, Sylvia. Thank you so much. And I'm going to go ahead and put you guys back on mute. It's so interesting that is one of the phrases that has stood out to you, and you've been able to find such understanding in, when it's been a long, long time since we have had that repeated ritual together. But we will again. As a matter of fact, we will from home, I think, in a couple weeks. And Sylvia is part of making sure that happens by arranging all the drivers for deliveries for that.
I think it's on Ash Wednesday.
Yeah, it's actually going to be, it's very close to that. We're going to bless both, we'll make and bless ashes, and we will have, Scott will bless the elements the last Sunday of Epiphany, so that we can have ashes for Ash Wednesday and elements of communion on the first Sunday of Lent. So it's going to be a fun week, actually. Whoever said that about the first week of Lent? I like Lent. So this is a wonderful, wonderful tune. Sylvia mentioned it's by Ralph Vaughan Williams, and that she is familiar with an art song version of it. This is from a very great choral work, one of my favorites, called The Five Mystical Songs by Ralph Vaughan Williams, and they're set for baritone soloist and SATB mixed choir and orchestra, and they are just amazing. This is the fourth of the mystical songs, and it is indeed just solo baritone, which I always hated because I wanted to sing it when I was a choir member, but we get to sing it tonight as a hymn, and it is beautiful, it is mystical, the poetry, and if you're familiar, for the choir members, what comes right after this in the set as the fifth mystical song is the Let All the World from Every Corner Sing, My God and King. It has this fabulous, exciting opening and a wonderful, it's one of my faves that comes up, and again, I say that a lot, right after this one. Come my way, my truth, my life. I'm going to play it all the way through before we start, in case this is an unfamiliar melody. Oh, it's just outstanding. My goodness, that's music. Not that the rest of it hasn't been, but that's fabulous. Thank you, Sylvia, so much for introducing some of us tonight the first time to this wonderful hymn in our hymnal by Vaughan Williams, Come My Way, My Truth, My Life. Oh, you guys, we're down to the last one tonight, and this one is mine. I decided on this one. We have sung it before because, of course, this is so commonly, when you get to like a call out a number hymn sing, this is, among some people's favorite of all hymns, and I think of it as the hymn that fits almost any occasion. We sing it when we're happy. We sing it when we're grieving. We sing it when we're celebrating. We sing it constantly, and it can have so many meanings for all of us. Cheryl mentioned earlier having How Firm a Foundation come to her mind the day before the inauguration. And I know many of you probably watched yesterday or saw some of the highlights of the ceremony, which was so moving. And I'm always interested in the music at these especially. And, Lady Gaga did her thing, which was amazing. And Jennifer Lopez did her thing. And I loved both of those. And then, of course, Garth Brooks, the most famous pretty much country star of the last, 3 to 4 decades, came out and sang Amazing Grace a cappella and invited everyone to sing along with him at home. And he's sung at previous inaugurations before. Some of you don't know this. I think the choir mostly does, but when I was in college in the 90s, I'm from West Virginia. Every summer I went home from Wheaton College and I would work at the local country music radio station. And so I got to know a lot of Garth Brooks songs during this time. But he, I think, in his wisdom, managed to capture a moment yesterday that I'm sure will be highly criticized by many, but was very much appreciated, I think, by many, and in a call for us to do the thing that we do together the best, which is to sing together. And so I thought we might just revisit Amazing Grace in honor of that. And I think, actually, we should sing it a cappella, just like we did yesterday. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we'd first begun. All right, thank you everybody so much. That was a great selection of hymns that you all chose tonight. I'm so grateful. I couldn't do it without you. The Sanctuary Choir and I'll thank all of you for joining us. We'll do this again next month on the third Thursday of the month, which is February 18th. That is the day after Ash Wednesday, so it is a busy week. I will say the hymns don't need to be Lenten, but I'll probably avoid Alleluias as I should. So don't send me any Alleluia hymns, but otherwise I'm really excited that we get a chance to do this again really soon. So here's the time where we end, and I'm going to stop our share, and you may unmute and greet everybody just like we do on Sunday morning.
Hello, everybody.